Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. Ha ha. How is everyone? I hope you're doing great tonight and looking forward to spring and looking forward to Tuesday, Super Tuesday. But we got a Super Monday coming up, it looks like. And Nikki had a Super Sunday. Did you know that? She had made a big comeback. Boy. Yeah, she won DC. So I got the poll numbers on that. Did you know, according to these poll numbers, that DC has got a massive Republican presence? I think the vote total was for all candidates was right around 2,000. Now, I don't know what the population of DC is, but 2,000 is a very small number. But anyway, she dominated DC. The mighty Ronald Reagan didn't even win DC. So anyway, but hey, Trump still got 30 some percent of the vote. But anyway, we got a lot to talk about tonight. SCOTUS made a very rare announcement that they are going to release a decision concerning this nonsense of little raggedy secretaries of states of different states, or some screwball judge or magistrate somewhere, some podunk county, some state could kick Trump off the ballot, and then they still have on their table the same characters I just mentioned having the ability to harass a president after his term. Can you imagine that? But hey, if you'd have told me back in the day, back in the 70s, especially when all this Weather Underground, Black Panther stuff was going on, the Manson Red Rums, bombings, police officers being assassinated, okay, that the daughter of one of these militants would be dragging a president of the United States. I'd say, no, it's never going to get that bad. But it certainly has. And it's been bad for a while, ever since Barack, and then what do we say? Just like the great Rush Limbaugh said, Hussein Obama came into power. He was an operative of Acorn, the Black Panthers, and the Weather Underground. So anyway, we'll get into all that stuff. Let me see who's made it in so far. Boy, we got a crowd already. We got a crowd. You think it's going to be 9-0, folks? What do you think? Is it going to be 9-0? Hi, Zoe, Pappy Two Bears, Angela, David, Nikki's made it in, Sherry, Maryland, B-Dog, Jersey Joe, hi, William. Everybody's rolling in. Donna, how you doing? There's the two birthday girls, Donna, Nikki. Georgia, K&S Cleanup. So good. Diane, how are you doing? Nice to see you. And Amy. Boy, we got everybody. If I miss anybody, hi, Kim, because my chats jump around. I got to take my thumb and move them around. Hi, Ingrid. Sandy. And, it's a little challenging sometimes. Hi, David. Yeah, hit that like button, David said. And Nikki said that too. Single songwriter. Happy Sunday to me. Thank you to you also. You are welcome. It is a whirlwind of stuff going on with that Fani Willis. I had to put that in the title. Hi, Tracy. I'll think of a few things, but I'm glad you didn't say a few good memories, because I was thinking about stuff that are in the dustbin of your mind, like the Weather Underground and people like that. But hey, they never went away. But learning about them can be a bit difficult because we know who's in charge of our research online, and that's Goggle, right? Goggle. So, but we can get around that and learn about these people. Hi, Yvonne. Nice to see you. Ronald, how you doing? Jax, nice to see you. 7-2 single songwriter said Maryland said 6-3. Angel, how are you? Let's see. I think it's going to be 9-0. I've been wrong in the past, not often, but this is historical. This has to do with the heart of our republic is votes and candidates, and everybody getting a day in court. You know, hi Cheshire. Ingrid says 9-0. Jersey Joe said 7-2. Miss Mendersue, how you doing? Yeah, we're putting in our predictions about the SCOTUS vote tomorrow, which, from what I understand, is going to be released at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So West Coast would be 7 a.m. So we're going to have a lot of blue-haired kooks when they get out of the, excuse my crude way of describing this, whenever they get out of the fart sack, they're going to go crazy because there's no way the SCOTUS is going to say that individual states can kick somebody off the ballot because of finger pointing and media rabble rousing. Excuse me while I have a sip of my coffee. I don't even think Ketanji Brown has been that skewered in her thinking. Hi, Wayne. How you doing? Oh, they requested the extra security. Well, they have to do like that meme suggests, just get Kyle Rittenhouse standing there on the steps. I believe that's all they need. I think it's going to be 9-0 because as nutty as Ketanji Brown is, she and if you think about it, and if you have listened to past broadcasts of her asking questions, she seems rather rational, and you know, a lot of the focus on her at the time of her confirmation was her response to the question, "What is a woman?" And she said, "I'm not a biologist." And I'm sure there were some other things that where her brain was like a fried egg, but her discussions during the questioning, when the case was being presented about Colorado, seemed very cogent and probing. So she may surprise everybody. Georgia said it should be 9-0, but we shall see. But I'm confident in saying, in my opinion, anybody that votes to keep Trump off the ballot in this manner on the Supreme Court should be removed. That would be grounds for impeachment and removal. And as I've said many times in the past, and I'll keep saying it, a lot of bar cards going to be cut in half. A lot of people have been granted degrees and licenses will find them taken away. Yeah, she's a kook, but hey, when reality gets right, I mean, it's standing there staring at you. You can feel reality's breath in your face. Historic biblical times, the world is watching. your brain might kick in. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm saying. But anyway, now I want to ask, yeah, the meltdown started. It's going to keep on. Well, just you wait till tomorrow. But what's tempering the meltdown? I'm going to ask a question, and then I'm going to talk about tempering this meltdown. But what did you all hear? What's the best way for me to ask this? My first broadcast ever on UTizzle was on another channel. And what prompted me to go live, never been on YouTube before, was all the anxiety, all the expectations, prognostications, on and on about 11.3. As a matter of fact, I can tell you exactly the time, because it was 11.3 laws of war, where some creators that incurred my ire had put out the notion that the Department of Defense laws of war 11.3 said that for a year, 1 year, people were led to believe, after Biden had been in office 1 year, according to the laws of war, there could be military action taken against Joe Biden. And this was by someone who was wearing their service on their sleeve. Multiple people, military backgrounds, putting that garbage out there. And I knew it was wrong, and I knew a lot of people were having false expectations and anxieties over it. And I did a little research, and I came up with something quite different. And I went live to explain that. First of all, 11.3 in the Laws of War Department of Defense manual is that for up to 1 year, it has to be a complete year, the Geneva Conventions are implemented, recognized, and used for 1 year after the cessation of hostilities, which didn't apply. It didn't make sense. So, but anyway, I'm proven right, and Trump proved me right in his speech, because he mentioned one thing that we have, and I want to see if anybody caught it. When he was talking about the phone call that led to his first impeachment, and it's the first time I heard him reference it, and it's the first subject I did on my first video ever by myself on my own channel. It was the subject. 11.3 what? See if anybody gets it. And give you guys plenty of time. And remember, with the key and then words, you use numbers for vowels, like 0 for O's, 1s for I's. Not every vowel, but just enough to make the word not recognizable. Some people put so many letters, numbers, and I won't even know what kind of word they're trying to spell. All you gotta do is, like P3DO is a good example. Just one number for a vowel. So anyway, this business of D.C., Washington, D.C., Republican primary elections, with 95% of the votes in, it's probably at 100 now. And what gets me is that daggone vote total. Roughly 2,000 Republicans in all of D.C. Can you imagine voting in the primary? And even with that, Nikki probably got a bunch of Democrats putting her over the top. I mean, seriously, they've already proven that they will cheat by acting like they're Republicans and vote for somebody other than Donald Trump. They've already proven that. They've already proven it, hell, from 2020, right? 16. Take them. How many elections back you want for them to prove that they cheat? So don't tell me that there aren't Democrat totals behind Nikki Haley. She had 1,279 votes with 95% of the vote in. Wow. Tell me there weren't 500 Democrats in D.C. that would run down there and vote for Nikki over Trump. They do it in a flash. But anyway, that gave her the impressive total, 62.9%. How many votes did Donald Trump get? 676, which is 33.2. And Ron DeSanctimonious, well, we don't call him that anymore. Ron DeSantis, I mean, hey, I'll get to him in a minute, but 38 votes, 1.9%. So yeah, all you got to do is get. Don't even have to use 500 Democrat operatives. You just get 500 winos. Give, like I talked about in the past, a little walk around money or pint. What we used to call taste. You want to taste? Yeah, go down here and vote for Nikki Haley. Oh yeah, I did. Yeah, $10. Whoa. I got a notice here. My browser has lost connection to my camera. Well, I'm not using my camera. But anyway, I'm getting a notice from StreamYard. Restart my device. Can you all hear me, I hope? Says I should refresh my page. It's the first time I got that notice. But I did have trouble getting into StreamYard tonight. I had to make about 3 attempts. So Nikki said 5 by 5. That's good. Oh, good. Working great. Single songwriter said, okay, that's good. But now remember, we're gonna everybody's saying 5 by 5. Good. See, 500 winos. That's all you need. Yeah, instead of 10,000 mules or whatever the book is, 2,000 mules, 2,000 winos. I'll write my book. 2,000 winos. How you doing, Tennessee? 5 by 5. How to pay? How you doing? Yes, you won DC. That says it all. Em, I didn't know you spoke Spanish. See, sigh. So, remember that? Mel Blanc used to do that. So anyway, we're not going to call Ron DeSantis anything but Ron DeSantis after he pledged to sign that bill that's going to release the information from the 2006 Jeffrey Epstein. I keep saying 2006 so people won't get confused. It's only part of the story. How many chapters are we going to see in how many different stories? Quite a few. Let me have a sip of my coffee. So anyway, that and also signing into law a bill that approves the final penalty, the ultimate penalty for people that abuse the little ones, right? Hi, Christopher. How you doing? So it's we'll call 2,000 winos from now on because that's all you really need. So anyway, that's what's going to temper all the screwballs from really going off the deep end when SCOTUS gives their decision. And you know what got me? Games people play. You know how you go on and you're scrolling through, you see what kind of video you want to watch. And I got a short that came up, had Rachel Madcow, her face on there, said something about Trump in court or trial or something. I said, well, let me play it. only what's a short 2 minutes, Well, they're saying it's been done. The judge has set a trial date set in stone. And my brain's going, huh? What? For March 4th, the day before Super Tuesday. And then some analyst gets on this short saying, well, there's not a lot he can do to get out of this. He's got to be present, and he's going to be sitting in the courtroom while other people are out, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be significant disruption to his campaign and all this stuff. And they show a picture of Judge Chutkan. And I said, what the hell? All this stuff has been put on hold. And people have known about it for what, a week at least? Over a week and a half. And this thing's got a couple 100,000 views, or how many? I don't know, six-figure views, 100-some thousand. And it's inaccurate. It's old. It's where they took, and I checked to see if somebody took a clip and put it on their own channel as a short. No, it was MSNBC channel. You know what I'm thinking? A lot of the mouth breathers, people that don't keep their ear to the ground or pay attention, don't even know who their own state senator is, their own dog catcher, much less state senator, they're going to be running around going, yeah, Trump's got to be in court. He's going to have to sit there and answer for his crimes. It really made me mad. I'm thinking, whoever's putting this thing out and causing this kind of political dysphoria should pay a price. But after a couple of hours, I started thinking about it. I said, wait a minute. Maybe they're being made to put this stuff up again. So when these people that are expecting Trump to be in court get another letdown, and they show themselves to putting out a bunch of nonsense. That was part of the operation against us, was to make us say things like Joe Biden's going to get kicked out after 1 year according to the laws of war, which was false. It never happened. Things like getting people to go to Dallas, waving 17th letter signs, waiting for JFK Jr. to show up in Dallas, made people look foolish. Maybe it's a reverse of that. Speaking of which, let me see. Yeah, Angela, a lot of old news put out as new news to remind people how much they're off base. Let me see if anybody guessed what yeah, that's right, Tennessee, 2,000 whiners and winos. So if anybody guessed what I was saying about what Trump said that 2 years ago validated, and I am here to tell you, I'm just saying it as a fact, I'm the only YouTube creator that brought it up, did the research, and I'm being proven right. What did Trump mention? And that is another thing about watching his speeches every time. We know what he's going to say. Sometimes he'll tell the snake story. Okay, if he doesn't do that, sometimes he'll talk about the swimmer or the weightlifter, or he'll talk about the soldiers in Mexico, or else, we'll put a big tariff on you. The wine in France, we're gonna tariff everything in France. We hear it, so we know what he's going to say. Enjoy it, listen to it again, but you're more prone to pick up something that he's not said before. If you know what he's going to say in advance, he says something extra. That's right, Georgia Nuggets. Well, I think this is a big nugget, and I'll see if anybody guesses what it was. I'll give you another hint. I said it was about the phone call. The phone call to Zelensky and Ukraine that he said was a perfect phone call. And he said, I knew we're okay. You know, I know what we're doing there because we have something. What was that something? He said, we have. So that's, I might give another hint, but anyway, we shall see. And I've got to research a couple of names. I didn't get a chance to do before I went live, but I'll talk about it tomorrow. I'll underline it. Remember when I said he brought up Merrick Garland's assistant? What was her name? Anyway, as being the one that's really running the Justice Department, put her in the spotlight. We put two other names in the spotlight, and I'll check them out, and because I think I saw one of them in a CUE, okay, the white ball on the pool table post. So yeah, I'm really excited about some of the little things he's dropping out there. One thing he said, and I don't know, we'll have to see what the impetus was behind it. He said, you know, they say I mix up Biden and Obama, and I really don't. I'm just pointing out who I think is really running the show. And he said something interesting. I don't really think it's Barack Obama running the show. I don't really believe that. Did you hear him say that? He said it's the Marxists and sycophants and, well, I get trouble for saying this word, rad, and then Eccles, that are swirling around his desk or hovering around his desk or whatever. But he said, we know in certain terms, that he didn't believe it was Obama. This time he said it. You don't believe me? Play it back again. Well, that to me confirms what he knows. We know, I know at least, Obama's just a puppet above the old puppet. And it's really somebody else. You know, Biden's doing what Obama says, but Obama's not running things. He's just a messenger. That's what I'm hearing. So, rad pickles. Yeah, rad. Oh, that's what I'll say from now on, Christopher. That's a good one. I like that. The rad pickles. So, let's see. And people have guessed, recorded it, and we have it all. Comms are always in Mr. T's speeches. Nikki said, votes, question mark. Yeah, well, some people might think it's not a big deal. But I will say, again, it was the subject of my very first video, 11.3 and 11.4, because people were looking at 11.4 laws of war. Remember that? People were reading 11.3 word for word out loud. A half a dozen creators at least were doing that with hundreds of thousands of views. And I looked up 11.3 laws of the United States is 11.4 and 11.3 treaties. And I said that Putin and Trump, when they got together in Helsinki, Putin discussed the treaty with not only the United States, but other countries to cooperate in law enforcement. Okay? people that break one another's country's laws, that the other country is compelled by treaty to cooperate and bring offenders to justice. And when Trump said, I knew everything was fine, I knew it was perfect, because we have a treaty with Ukraine. He said, I was rooting out, looking for corruption and criminal activity, and we have a treaty. So you look up laws of the United States, 11.4 and 11.3. You'll see the two things I've discussed in the past: tort law. Torts encompass a lot of things, and treaties. Awakened Trillium's finishing popcorn. Well, make another bucket because we got a lot of stuff coming up. So, another thing that he said was, in no uncertain terms, that they're going to try to cheat again. And I was going to put this in my thumbnail somewhere: too big to rig. That's going to be the saying. Rad pickles, 2,000 winos and weirdos and whiners, and too big to rig. But he said, you know, they're going to do it. They're going to cheat. We're ready for them. And it's going to be so many that they can't overcome it, but they're still going to do it. And he said, this time we're going to prosecute them. Did you catch that? And he said very quickly after that, he didn't say the words quickly, but he followed it up with, we're going to do things we've never done before. We're going to do things we've never done before. He's talking about what we're going to do with these people that are cheating. When on a national level, have you seen, especially if you factor in RICO, okay, racketeering, corrupt organizations colluding to defraud the American people? That's never been done before. But everything is there. The table is set. The cheese is in the trap. Just remember, the rat doesn't know why the cheese is free. They just know it's free. They come to get it, smack, then you got them. Michigan has already, Michigan, Nikki says they've already started the eating process. And I'm sure we have got literally thousands of IT people. Since I'm convinced that military intelligence is overseeing intensely what's going on. We didn't get that footage. We got footage, if you remember. Fox showed it, and not too many other outlets. But we got footage of people throwing ballots in the trash pail, of taking out thumb drives and sticking them in their pocket. I mean, zeroed right in on the culprits. Okay, think Ruby. Okay, Freeman. All right. We got their social media posts. We got everybody dead to rights, and that is not by accident. We got pictures of the van pulling into an underground garage area okay, and dropping stuff off in the dark of night and money changing hands. That doesn't happen by accident. So we've got thousands of people on the ground. And remember, special ops don't always mean heavy boots and full rattle gear. You can be a special op in a suit and tie. It depends on how what your op is and how special it is, what you're going to be dressed up as. Only truth. How are you doing? I said, hit the like button. That's right. You all get a chance to hit that like button. I really appreciate it. Helps the video to get around. After I complained and grumbled, we popped up to, I think it was 1.5 thousand. The prior ones I was suppressed because of my putting a link to truth, and then the other word is social on my videos. And one that I did, the last one I didn't do that. I didn't put a link on Truth Social and doubled the views. So that tells you right there, the machine, okay, will suppress stuff that is associated with truth and then social. Because on my Goggle account, they know that account with Truth Social is mine, and they know this account for this channel is mine. I did a handshake. They don't like that, and my views got suppressed. Easy, simple. But anyway, what is the consensus? Did we get a consensus? New insight? How you doing about this 9-0? I'm gonna say 9-0. If you're watching the video after the live, or if you think about it after I'm done with my live stream, put it in the hard comments. If you're right, you're right. If you're wrong, oh well, that's life. But it'll be interesting to have that as a record to what we're thinking. So we're going to find out by 10 o'clock Eastern time tomorrow. And is this so-called loss of DC to Nikki going to be enough to temper these lunatics when the decision comes down? Or do you think they'll make it such a close vote as to give the media something to talk about? If it's a little positive for them, and they think they've got some kind of topic, which is we need to get rid of Clarence Thomas and Alito and all the rural people. Did you know that all the rural people are the ones causing the trouble? I didn't know that. The rural people. So anyway, so we'll see. It's games. They're playing games because I'm going to tell you another game that I'm leery of. I'm going to tell you another game I'm leery of. This judge with Fani Willis, and I had to put it in the title, "Don't play games with me." She said that to Ashley Merchant. What's that first name? Miss Merchant, I'll call her. But the way she behaved and the way she treated that judge and his courtroom and fellow attorneys, that's historical. We all watched it. Something Viva Frey pointed out, though. They're both up for re-election. Fani and the judge. And sometime in the near future, it may have passed, I don't know, this time frame. But there's a deadline. They're both running unopposed. Okay? So they're shoo-in. Both of them, Fani and the judge. Somewhere there's a deadline where people cannot run against them. They can't enter the race, except as some, feeble write-in. So Did he put that 2-week period where he would give his written decision after he said, I think I have enough to make my decision, but we'll go through certain steps here for people to see. He said, I pretty much made my mind up. Did he set it for 2 weeks to let that period for a challenger to go by? Do you think? Two weeks left for the deadline, Georgia says. For the and Georgia is from Georgia, right, Georgia? So, yeah. But there's two ways that can go. I understand he's a Republican, this judge, but he did give Fani $150. If he lets Fani stay on the case and the deadline is gone for people to run against him, and he can let her stay on the case. If he gave us a decision now, I think what they did was bad, but it doesn't rise to the level to remove a prosecutor or whatever. You think that people would be mad enough to put a hardcore Republican in his seat to run against him? So he's waiting out this 2 weeks so he can leave Fani in and keep his seat. Are y'all? Is that? Oh, you lived there 4 times, Georgia. 223. How you doing? Oh yeah, I saw that new institute. It's Australia's Supreme Court where they said they could sue them. So I'm afraid that. Well, I'm not afraid. Okay, be not afraid. How many times have I said that? So I am not afraid, because I have said that I feel that this case is so ridiculous, and the only reason it is being put up is for D-class, okay? They're going to accuse Trump of tampering with the election officials and all this kind of crap, and they're going to be able to put their evidence up on the record in a court of law. So I think if this judge allows Fani to stay on, it is for the purpose of laying out the evidence for the American people to see how Georgia was corrupt and stolen. So, yeah. And I think that judge is a patriot, and he'll do what he needs to do to make them lay their cards on the table. And what does Trump have? The Trump card. And he'll lay his on the table with a big old boom. That's what I'm thinking. And along the way, look what's being exposed. The daughter of a Black Panther, okay? Her attitude, her corruption. And that's the way they rubber stamp stuff all the time in our own courtrooms, our own local governments. You get these same fanatics that have learned through decades and decades of manipulation and dirty deeds how to get themselves in positions of power like ticks on a dog's back. To have the daggone nerve to say, don't play games with me. I'm not the one on trial. They are. Yeah, well, we'll see about that, Fani. So you hang on, Fani, with your fingernails and your put your claws out and tell everybody how righteous you are. and you're going to be made a damn fool of. You wanted it so bad, I hope you get it. How do you catch a dangerous animal? You trap them. All right. I was in sales all my life. And one of the things that you would use when you're dealing with a tough cookie, you know, somebody trying to beat you down in price, or you could tell they wanted whatever you were selling, whatever your wares were, you know, whether it's a lawnmower or a car or a contract or whatever it is. There's something called the takeaway. The takeaway, where they're giving you a hard time and you just say, you know what? You don't want this. You don't want it. You can't have it. I'm not, you know, subconsciously you tell them they can't have it. It doesn't matter. I don't think it's right for you. What do you mean? Or you could even say, I think it's too much for you. I think you know, it's something you can't really afford, you know, so it's no big deal. I'll just, you know, somebody will want it. People want what they can't have. And Fani Willis, the more they tried to take this case away from her, the more she's going to hang on. People want what they can't have. And that's when they really make stupid decisions. And messing around with the likes of Rudy Giuliani, Sidney Powell, and Donald Trump is pretty damn stupid. But that's what they need. That's what the puppet masters above Obama need. They need flunkies and they need dummies that will do their dirty work for a little bit of Grey Goose and caviar. They'll sell their souls, and she'll prove it. What gets me is this: what Alvin Bragg business is going to trial, right? This one, from what I understand, doesn't have anything to do with immunity that SCOTUS is considering. They're not going to announce that tomorrow. They're not going to announce that tomorrow. But even if they gave Trump immunity, that is for the Jack Smith nonsense, the Chutkin nonsense acts that he did while he was in office. Alvin Bragg, his case is supposed to be going to trial. You know, it's past the stage we're watching with Fani. Fani, this is all pretrial motions. But it is a state case, supposedly for air quotes crimes that occurred before Trump into office. So their rationalist, the immunity doesn't apply. So Alvin Bragg, we know he didn't want to do it. I played you a videotape where we heard that Letitia dared him to do it. He had to be forced, pushed into it. He's laying low. He's lower than whale poop, and that's at the bottom of the ocean. You don't hardly hear nothing out of him. He doesn't want to do it. You know what he reminds me of? I call him Tweedledee and Tweedledummer. That's what he used to call the Vindman brothers. The Vindman brothers, who were behind that impeachment for the Ukrainian phone call. But Alvin Bragg reminds me of Terrence Bradley. Terrence Bradley, not just because they're, you know, both people of color, air quotes, and they're both kind of dumpy, but they're both in situations they don't want to be in. They don't want to be where they are. And we know for a fact that Terrence got thrown under the bus. That's one affront we saw committed against him, where they just dismantled it. They showed, you go against us, we'll destroy you, okay? what else is going to come out? What I think is going to come out is that he was threatened. I think we're going to hear about that. I think we're going to see proof of it. Terrence Bradley. Because we just found out the other day that Nathan claimed he hadn't talked to Terrence in 2 years, or vice versa, that they hadn't spoke to each other in 2 years. And then a waiter says, no, I saw him having lunch. Okay. Was anything overheard? Was anything recorded? Well, the reason I bring that up, what about Alvin? Has he been threatened? Or did Peekaboo just dare him? Like, come on, I double dog dare you. Ha ha ha. Laughing like on the playground. I dare you. I dare you to pick that worm up. Or I dare you to stick your tongue on that frozen flagpole. You know, no, he wasn't dared. He was, I think, threatened. So what do you all think? Do you see a link between Tweedledee and Tweedledum? As far, well, I think anybody can see that they don't want to be there. Oh, thank you, Nick, for putting the Buy Me a Coffee link in the description. I appreciate everybody that's helped me out with Buy Me a Coffee. And if you go to Buy Me a Coffee and punch in Mountain Man, it'll take you right straight to it. If you want to help support the channel, I want to thank Mike D for helping out, and Gary and Miss Minder Sue, and Bev and Mike and Wanda and Lone Wolf and Robin for helping out last week. Negan for helping out last week. But anyway, I didn't drop off, did I? Had to go out and take a look so I don't leave anybody out who's helped me out last week. So anyway, don't mess with Dirty Annie. That's right. Saggy Willis. So yeah, they're getting blackmailed. Well, they're also accepting bribes. There's such a hodgepodge. That's why I'm saying, I said on my first video that this whole situation with them, with Trump leaving office, everything that we've been watching when Trump took the oath of office, when he decided to run, that all this was part of an international police action, military police action. And I said, my father served in Korea as a combat veteran, Marine Corps, and he never referred to the Korean War as a war. It was a police action, because we never declared war. And hey, violating treaties, okay, can cause wars, all right? Advocating for the overthrow of a sovereign of another nation, attempted assassinations, you know, there are certain things that are acts of war. Acts of war. And I think that is why Trump secured the cooperation of Queen Elizabeth, because of the UK being so heavily involved in the phony Steele dossier. Okay. How China went to play ball with Trump because of the servers that are located in China. Bop, bop, bing, bing, boom, boom. You put down Trump, you put it in the machine, and it bop, bop, bing, bing, boom, boom, goes to different countries. And when it comes back, bing, bing, boom, it comes back, it says something other than Trump. Those are acts of war. And once a country commits an act of war against another country, you can retaliate. And I think Trump said, you play ball and uphold your end of the treaty, to cooperate with the apprehension and conviction of people who are committing these crimes, or something bad's going to happen to you. So yeah, that's why he's met with every country he went to, open arms, a sword dance, reviewing the Queen's troops, dinner in the Forbidden City, and on and on. You know, it's going to be interesting to see about this big fine they've got coming up with Trump, because they even barred him from borrowing money. So it's calculated to confiscate. It's calculated to be injurious to him, permanent, if they had their way. Excuse me, I was sitting my caller. So they've lifted the restrictions on him going out and being able to borrow. But wait a minute, the banks that did business with him, that he is supposedly did criminal acts with, they were a hair away from being implicated in these phony charges of fraud, even though everybody conducted acceptable business practices. So who's going to step up and loan the money? Who's going to stick their head in that beehive of communism and Marxism? Well, there's any number of Saudi princes that could write a check. Then they'll be accusing him of doing something, who knows? Maybe somebody from Qatar, oil-rich nation. But Letitia is wanting to go ahead. They gave him 30 days. And she's talking about taking legal confiscatory action where they actually take over control of physical property. So we'll see how that plays out. It's coming. It's coming. 2 years ago, we said we'd never be able to make it to the point we're at now. And every day that goes by, it seems like time is accelerating towards the election day. And I've said before, because a lot of people have predicted, and I've got my antennas about it too, about that we could never vote our way out of tyranny. But the date is coming, the time and the hour is coming where we got to go vote. And that's when the you-know-what's going to hit the fan. What did Merrick Garland announce? I saw a photo of a video clip of him where he said we need to get rid of voter ID laws. Did you all see that? Voter ID laws. Here we go. A.G. Garland announces that the Biden DOJ is working to end voter ID laws because voter ID laws are RACIST, right? RACIST. And so are restricting the use of boxes, right? As in drop, where the 2,000 whiners can drop stuff off. So with, oh wow, did you all see the tweets from the border patrol unions about Biden, telling him to keep their name out of his mouth. I was taken aback by that, but that's what they said. Keep your name out. Keep our name out of your mouth. And then they followed up with that. They followed up with it and said that what we all know, he's getting them through to destroy the country and to steal the election. So that's a situation where these rules where you can't get rid of federal employees very easily is backfired in their face. Remember, Trump said, I fired 9,000 out of the VA that were criminals and abusive, and I couldn't get rid of them, but I made it where I could. Here we go. Border Patrol Union, radical leftists upset because we told Biden to keep our name out of his mouth. We don't give a damn about their feelings. Biden has destroyed the border. Americans are suffering because of it. So here is our olive branch to the radical left, Trump. And they show a photo of Trump. That was on X. That's going around the world, where Biden is being made to look like an idiot that he is. And the video going around of Mexican soldiers on the other side of the river, and Trump standing on the bank, and of course, you know, he's got a suit on, he's got that blonde hair and red tie, and he's with a bunch of people in uniform on the other side of the river. What do you have? Mexican soldiers. What do you hear the Mexican soldiers hollering? Trump, Trump. And Trump raises his fist up, smiles, and said, they like Trump. So that's going around the world. So, you know, keep your chins up. 51 Missouri delegates won by Trump. The Associated Press has called this race, that's back with Missouri, 100% for Trump, 0 for Nikki, and somebody named David Stukenberg. Oh, I got to be careful about this headline. It's from the CDC, folks. That it's official. This is, which paper is this? Spike Cohen put it up on YouTube. It's official. We can pretty much treat COVID and then rest his ID like the flu now. Here's the guide. New guidelines from the CDC Friday bring CO and then VD precautions in line with those other respiratory viruses. Oh. That's right, Georgia. It is an amazing time to be alive. You know, those soldiers are sick of those cartels too. And the Biden administration is working hand in gloves with those cartels. Not only the Biden administration, but whoever took out Seth Rich. We're going to hear about that also. There are storylines that we know about that the average American doesn't know about. We knew half a decade ago about Epstein. We knew about Seth Rich when he was red rummed out on the street. We know what that was about. We know about the Podesta emails. We know about a lot of stuff that is going to be gotten into just like this drama, one case, the Adelson case where Dan Markel, this doesn't have the international bang to it, but it's a compelling story that goes back 10 years. We've got 30 or 40 different big stories that are going to have the same amount of intrigue, the same amount of interest for people to watch, and it is going to educate people. Why? So it'll never happen again. This is all being documented, and I think that one of the biggest goals is to be able to tell this story. Now, I noticed something, and I might be wrong. During the Georgia case, many of you probably like me and have watched famous cases whenever they televise them. Okay, we watched Kyle, okay, and his last name is Written and then House. We watched his trial. We've watched a lot of trials. But the Georgia one was very good as far as the visuals. Did you notice how they had a screen behind the witness when they were testifying that showed you other parts of the courtroom? Did you notice how they had the split screen where you saw the judge and the witness? Next to that, you saw the defense and the state, both those teams, where everything is being documented. I wonder if that's the layout in Cuba. Get and then Mo. Because we said it 100 times about Catherine Herridge reporting on how the new courthouse was being constructed to handle multiple cases and with special attention to documentation, news agencies and journalists having access to the proceedings. I wonder if this is kind of like a test, because that wasn't a case where you're watching or hearing something and somebody's telling you, well, you didn't get to see it, but off camera, so-and-so was doing this. No, we get to see everybody. And as you may or may not know, Catherine Herridge, we talked about her getting fired from CBS unceremoniously, and they seized all her records. They gave her some back, but now a judge is fining her I believe it's $800 per day, because she won't divulge her sources. Wait a minute, I thought freedom of the press. I thought the sources were sacrosanct ever since Nixon, when Woodward and Bernstein wouldn't tell their sources, and they didn't get that kind of treatment. The Pentagon Papers, all this precedent for reporters to be able to keep their sources confidential. Now you have this treatment of Catherine Herridge like this. Pappy Joubert says documentation is fine, but it takes well, people are still suffering. Well, I tell you, we take draconian action too soon, and we're doing everything we can to have the majority of the country to come to agreement that there is a huge problem that has to be taken care of, and that draconian measures are needed. If we take tough measures without public understanding, there will be unacceptable level of violence in this country. and it will permanently divide our country. So it's something we've got to go through. I said it many times. We've got a long march, a long slog. So they were predicting violence when Roe v. Wade was overturned. It didn't happen. There were sporadic spots, and the people that actually participated looked like the rad pickles they are. Thank you, Christopher, for that. The rad pickles they are. Now, it's getting to the point where, hey, if you support Joe Biden, you support the destruction of our borders and our school systems being overwhelmed and young people being led down a road to permanently damage their bodies. What are you thinking about? That's what we got to get it at, where most of people understand that the ones that are in control now are dangerous. They're harming this country. They're actively harming it. If they have their way, they'll destroy it. And we're coming down. That train is going down the tracks. And it's picking up steam. I don't know a revolution or a WAR, a war, that didn't have casualties, didn't have suffering, didn't have sacrifice. I'm just checking the chat, see what's going on. Brad Pickles and Fedsurrectionists. That's right. We got to be a warrior for truth. Can't back down, Georgia said. We can't give in. We must unite. We didn't go through all this stuff. And like I've said before, sometimes I've scolded viewers, not those that get it out. A lot of people that in the chats right now get it. But for the ones that don't get it, I'm like, hey, as far as conflicts in human history, we have got it made. I mean, a psychological stress because we don't feel justice is being meted out quick enough is peanuts compared to your door getting kicked in, to all your stuff getting stolen, for you being convicted of some communist theory that you can't defend yourself and you get jailed and lose your property. You're not dealing with that. Everybody's still got their phones. Everybody's still got their refrigerators and cars and air conditioning or heat, plumbing, everything working fine. Look at past conflicts. A cannonball hitting the front wall, going out the back wall. Get a good night's sleep. It's going to snow tonight. So, yeah, and that's what we want to avoid. But then you hear that Colonel McGregor said it again, that the people have to be pushed, he said, over the precipice. What we heard before was taken to the precipice. Now you have Colonel McGregor saying over the precipice. But I saw a video with a little bit of good news. I've talked about Steve Leto, Lehto, the attorney who does videos. Some of them were concerning. Civil forfeiture, where you get pulled over by a police officer in some backwater area and you got $2,000 or $3,000 cash on you. In some cases, very much more. That's legitimate and they take it from you, and they don't have to have a reason. All they have to have is a suspicion, and you would spend more money trying to get your money back. It's called civil asset forfeiture. He had a video where a veteran had $40-some thousand, his life savings, with him. He was moving to another state, taking his family to another state, and he didn't trust banks. And he told the cop, "That's my life savings." He said, "Well, how do I know you're not doing anything illegal?" He said, "Well, here's my license. Here's my you can look, see, I served honorably for how many years in the armed forces. I'm retired now. This is my wife's car. Here's her name, address, and that's what we're doing." And he was gonna let him go till his supervisor pulled up. Supervisor said, "No, go ahead and hang on to that money. We're going to make sure it's not illegal." And the guy told him, "You're taking bread off my family's table. That's what I've worked my whole life for. That's the money I've saved up for my retirement. I think it was $48,000. They took his money. Well, Steve Leto had a video up that said, "Civil asset forfeiture victims win $1 million verdict." So there's hope that that's going to change. But not a lot of people knew that. And I've done it. I've had a lot. I go to buy a car. Hey, cash talks. Cash is king. It always is. You got $10,000. You're going to buy a car. They can take it. Rick, 90,000. So anyway, yeah, New Insights, put the name there, Steve Leto. Y'all get a chance, check out a couple of his videos. He's up in your territory, Nikki. Michigan, I believe. So anyway, we got a lot more stuff to talk about. We can talk about mañana. Let's see how people act when this Supreme Court hearing comes down. I can't imagine anything other than them saying the whole thing is ridiculous and to stop taking Trump off the ballot. A former president with no convictions, no charges that are germane to him being president. Hey, but you never know. Few know the plan, right? Few know the plan. But anyway, I got different things we can talk about. On top of the news tomorrow, we'll talk about Twitter saying you can't misgender people on Twitter. Wait, what the hell's going on there? Did somebody get to Elon? I don't know. We'll talk about that. And how about the Chicago cop? He wants to transition his race. He's suing. He doesn't want to be viewed as a vanilla anymore. He wants to, I don't know. We'll talk about that. So anyway, folks, I appreciate you all spending your precious time with me. And we'll get together hopefully tomorrow night. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so you know when I go live. And I appreciate everybody coming in tonight and everybody who watches the broadcast afterwards. And as I've said before, if you want to support the channel, I got to buy me a coffee. In the description, you'll see how to access it. So you all have a great night. I'll be seeing you soon. This is Mountain Man, over and out.